Congresswoman because I've got my bishop. But I'm going to claim her until we get rid of my bishop. And Ronnie, I mean, I'm so grateful for the help and the support and the counsel of all of my friends that showed up here and spoke on stage, but also all of you. You know, this election is not just another election. This is about our lives. This is about our democracy. This election matters more than any in the past. And I know we say that every year, but the stakes couldn't be higher. And I just want to start by taking you back to a moment not too long ago. I want you to remember how you felt the morning after the presidential election. Just take a minute and think about it. That pain in your stomach, right? Some of you might have been a little hungover. Some of us had swollen eyes though, right? I got 2 daughters and they were worried. They asked, are we going to be okay? What happens next? All right? I want you to remember that feeling. Because I don't ever want to wake up the day after an election feeling that low again. We've got a lot of work to do. I jumped in this race early because I love the state of Michigan. I am proud to be a Michigander. I grew up here and I never for an instant thought about living anywhere else. I knew I wanted to be near my family in the state that I love. But I look around at the Michigan in which my kids are growing up, and they're back there. They're 14 and 16. Again, stand up, children. We've done this like 100 times in the last 4 days, and they still don't get their cue. You know, I look around at the Michigan in which they're growing up, in which we all live, and it does not live up to the one that I think of when I talk about my pride. This was the place that people came to for opportunity. And a lot of us had relatives that came from Kentucky or Tennessee or Alabama or halfway around the world to Michigan because we invented the middle class. Organized labor meant you could get a good job here that would pay you well enough, you could raise a family, and retire with dignity. You knew that no matter what community you settled in, your kids would have a great public school education. In Michigan, the state that put the whole world in cars, you knew you could travel those roads and get to your destination safely, and the Great Lakes state, home to 21% of the world's fresh water in and around our borders, you could confidently turn on your tap water and bathe your children as well as give them a glass of water at the dinner table. And right now, on all 4 of those critical measurements that tell you how people are doing, we are dangerously behind. And today's Michigan families deserve no less than that Michigan I just described. But we have a lot of work to do. We've got serious and urgent issues that we have to tackle. Now, Congresswoman Dingell mentioned a little bit about the work that I did. I want to tell you a little bit about why healthcare was so important to me, to work together with a governor that I did a lot of battle with over the years. When I was 29 years old, I had already stayed in Michigan. I went to MSU, that other university. Went to state, graduated. Graduated and stayed. A lot of my fellow Spartans left looking for opportunity elsewhere. I bought a house in the neighborhood in which I grew up. And it was because I was here, when we found out that my mom had brain cancer, I was able to take care of her at the end of her life. I was 29, she was 59. And she was dying of the worst kind of brain tumor you can get. And I happened to be just starting my family. The tall one in the back, I was pregnant with and gave birth to her during the last 2 years of my mom's life. I was a member of the sandwich generation, which simply means I was sandwiched between 2 generations of my own family for whom I was the primary caregiver. I know what it's like to take care of someone at the end of their life and have to fight an insurance company who doesn't want to pay for the chemotherapy. I know how hard it was to get back to work and keep nursing my newborn or arrange daycare. And I had it easier than a lot of people, there's no question. But it was these 2 years in my life that made me who I am today. Those toughest 2 years that compelled me to do the work that I do, that drive me to run for governor. Because I know this. We deserve better than politicians that just want to politicize issues instead of rolling up their sleeves and solving problems. In my household, my mom was a public servant, my dad was a public servant. He worked for Bill Milliken, which means he's a Democrat, right? Most Milliken Republicans are now. But in our house, you know, everything was about values. And the first one is this: everyone's important. Everyone's important. I think too few people in elective office remember that they work for everyone in the state, that they were sworn to uphold our Constitution and protect everyone. All right? That's why I jumped in this race and have gotten into all 83 counties. I'm the only candidate that has showed up like that because everyone is important. Number two, our allegiance needs to be to Michigan. Not to a campaign donor, not even to a political party. I'm a proud Democrat, no question. But our allegiance has to be to Michigan, the people of Michigan. And number three, the best public servants stay true to their values and seek to work with anyone who wants to solve a problem. These were the kind of guiding principles I try to always live by during my time in the legislature. I served 6 years in the House and 8 years in the Senate, and I was the Senate Democratic leader in my last 4 years. These are the principles that drove me to take on a governor in my own party when she started cutting education, right? Drove me to take on the whole Republican establishment when they locked the public out of the Capitol and pressed forward attacking collective bargaining, right? Drove me to the microphone to tell my story as a sexual assault survivor for the first time publicly on the Senate floor because women's health was on the line and they weren't listening to a single woman through a committee hearing. But it's also these values that drove me to work with Rick Snyder when he embraced the Affordable Care Act. Because I knew this, a Republican governor embracing Obamacare with the legislature he had, even though they were all in his, the majority was in his own party, he was never going to be able to get it done without my help. As the leader of the Democrats, I could have gone off to my corner and watched my opponent struggle. I could have come out with a list of demands. I didn't do any of those games. I just rolled up my sleeves and negotiated with him. I put the votes together and we got it to his desk. And 680,000 people got health care coverage because of that. We need a governor who's more beholden to the kids and teachers of our state than the DeVos family. We need a governor who cares more about providing water for the people of Flint than giving away our water to Nestle. We need a governor who understands that the backbone of our economy is the education of our children, is ensuring every one of us has a path to a high wage skill. I've put a lot of my plans on the table, and I know we can get it done. But first, we gotta win this election. Now, I'm working 15, 16, 17, 18-hour days. I start drinking my coffee at 5 a.m. and I go until I fall into bed between 10 and 11. I do it the next day, 7 days a week. I'm not complaining. I'm a hardworking person like a lot of Michiganders are. But every single day, there's someone or something that happens that reminds me why I'm doing this. And not long ago, I was reading with some children at the Detroit Children's Hospital. 2 boys. And both of their moms were there. These were boys who were in there for, surgery and one for treatment. They both had on hospital gowns and one was hooked up to an IV. We got done reading. And the mom of the 5-year-old was trying to get her son to talk to me. And so like a lot of us moms, she nudged her son and she said, she's running for governor. What do you think she should work on, honey? This little boy, Malachi, thought for just 1 second. He said, I want everyone to be able to read. Now, I don't know how many 5-year-olds you all hang out with, but they don't usually lobby for tourists. Usually they want, more candy or later bedtime. And maybe, I thought, it dawned on me, maybe he saw Betsy DeVos on 60 Minutes. The 11-year-old chimed in very seriously right away, and he said, I want everyone to have clean drinking water. And his grandma turned to him, his name was Corey, and she said, tell her where you're from, Corey. He said, I'm from Flint. All right, so the stress that Michigan kids are under right now because they're worried about education and drinking water. And it's not just limited to Flint. We're finding out PFAS contamination, old lead pipes. We had over 100 communities that can't drink the water coming out of their tap right here in Michigan. So I turned to the moms and I said, all right, what do you moms want me to work on? And they both said a variation of the same thing, which was, I just need you to fix the damn roads, all right? The mom from Flint was really animated, and so when someone reacts that strongly, you know there's a story there. And so I said, why are the roads your number one issue? And she explained, she has 3 kids in Flint, 1 child in the Detroit Children's Hospital, and she's driving up and down 75 every day. Hit a pothole, and it just devastated the wheel on her car. Hundreds of dollars out of her family budget that she was not planning to spend and didn't have on a credit card. She had to call on a friend to help her pay the bill. Took her off the road for a whole day, time away from her son in the hospital, and had to wait around to get it fixed so she could hustle home and take care of the rest of the family. These are the fundamentals that our state is not getting right and that we are all paying for in the worst way. That's what this election is all about. We have 4 days until the primary. I know polling, it said, should make, you know, some people say, oh, you got this, it's right. No, we saw polling in the last election that wasn't right. I'm not gonna take my foot off the gas for a heartbeat until this election is over, this primary election. And then the next day, we gotta coalesce and build toward making sure that we are successful in the fall. Because as tough as the last 8 years have been, it could get incredibly worse if 45 Junior is our next governor. And you all know who I'm talking about, right? So we've got to keep our foot on the gas, and I hope that you will join us. All the 30-second ads in the world don't hold a candle to you talking to your network, to you posting a picture of us on social and saying, this is my candidate for governor and here's why. To you using your voice, whether it's with your neighbors or your loved ones or the people you work with, this is where